Hello once again, Internet, and welcome to yet another video on a subject that I have already absolutely beaten to death on this channel, but oh well, we're going to talk about it some more tonight, about the Fulton MX-991 angle head flashlight. And if you saw any of my previous videos, I've already ranted and raved and whined and complained about beam patterns and brightness, and how obviously when you first get these, the standard incandescent bulb that comes with these is not all that great. And so the theme, or subject I guess, of most of those videos was how you can actually get some pretty decent LED upgrades to go in these and definitely increase the brightness significantly. But you still have the problem of Fulton's questionable quality control with the reflectors that you get in these, and how they're always wavy around the edges and mess up your beam and potentially even severely limit the effectiveness and usefulness of your beam and of your flashlight. And out of maybe 10 or 11 MX-991s that I've collected in the few years that I've been into them as a hobby, this is the only one that has a very good reflector that actually focuses the light fairly well, but that's only one out of like 10 of these. It's crazy. Seriously, Fulton, what's going on with the quality control on the reflectors? Get your stuff together. So now, let's talk about this. I will turn this around where you can see. If you know anything at all about these flashlights, you know that is not your standard setup for an MX-991. And that is because this is an Elektro Lumens Anglelux-XML from Wayne Johnson at elektrolumens.com. This is something that he does to these flashlights. He modifies them with a powerful Cree LED that sits behind this nice, very nice focusing lens. And you've got 240 lumens of light output in this. And I know in 2017, 240 doesn't sound like all that much, but when it is properly focused, it still shines very far. You can still light up something pretty far away with this. And I'll just come right out and say it. I think I got a new favorite flashlight. I like this a lot. And I know the camera is not going to pick it up all that well, but the beam is literally perfectly focused. It is the most perfectly round little circle hotspot. I can light up something pretty far away with this now. And that is all thanks to Wayne and the changes he has made to this light. And we're going to take a look at them now. I'm going to unscrew the head of this so you can see. Ooh, got it on there pretty tight. There was one little tweak I made to this one. I got it in the mail, and I'll show you what it is in just a second. Or I can go ahead and show you now anyway while I'm taking this apart. And that is my addition of this rubber O-ring, and I will show you why in just a second, but we're not talking about that just yet. Let's take the rest of the head of the light completely off. And there you can see the focusing lens and its housing and how it's all resting in this aluminum collar. That is, I assume, not just to hold it in place, but that should also help at least some with heat dissipation. And if I press on this a certain way, I can get the lens to come unsnapped, and there it is. There is the beautiful focusing lens. That looks kind of like a diamond, doesn't it? Ooh, that's pretty. That is really cool. And then if I guess you can see it. There is the Cree XML LED that Wayne has added. That is a nice, powerful LED. And you notice as I was disassembling this, this focusing lens does come unsnapped from its housing. I wouldn't say super easily if you put pressure on it in just the right way, like on the edge as I'm disassembling the light or whatever. And because I'm such a clumsy, accident-prone person, One of the first things I did when I got this in the mail about a week ago was, of course, I dropped it on the floor. And dropping it on the floor was how I discovered that this can potentially come unsnapped with a hard enough impact. And so for that reason I made this one little addition of when the head of the light is screwed on and this lens, the standard plastic lens, is just in front of that focusing lens. That kind of pinches this O-ring in between them around or onto this little rim or lip around the edge of the focusing lens, and that helps hold it more securely in place just so it doesn't come unsnapped. Again, just because I'm a clumsy person. I'm not trying to sound like I am at all questioning the quality of Wayne's work. The quality of Wayne's work is absolutely top-notch. He did a fantastic job modifying this flashlight. Wayne, I don't know if you'll ever see this video, but if you do, hey, good job, man. I like it a lot. I think I got a new favorite flashlight. So that was the one little change I made, and, well, that and to make this sit close enough that it would hold the O-ring in place, I did have to sand this down a little bit, and the reason for that is, on a standard MX-991, that lens is sitting way back in the head of the flashlight, and you have almost an inch of actual depth here, whereas on this, the lens is now sitting at the very front of the head of the flashlight like so. So when I first got this, there was still about a 1/16 of an inch of travel left because of the space taken up by the lens. It looked more like that instead of screwing all the way down like it does now. So I just ever so carefully took a piece of sandpaper on a hard flat surface and set this on this and did a smooth circular motion and just ever so carefully took off maybe a little over a 1/16 of an inch of the ABS plastic on the front of this, so it would now screw down flush. Number one, just because I think it looks nicer, but number two, now that sits back far enough that it holds the O-ring snugly in place so this doesn't come unsnapped. So now I'll put that back together in the right order so you can see. I'll put this on first. So I'll put in my rubber O-ring like so. And this wasn't some obscure size that I had to find online. I just walked into Lowe's and bought a pack of these. It was a pack of 4 O-rings that were, I guess, the same inner diameter, but they were different thicknesses. You got 2 thin gauge and 2 thicker, heavier gauge, and that's what this is. This is one of the heavier gauge O-rings that came in that little multi-pack. So I will put that there. I'm trying to do this where you can see it. And then just your standard lens from the MX-991 goes on top of that. And then the ring or collar of the light screws back on top of that. And right about there I can feel the tension, because that O-ring is now snug against the edge of that focusing lens. And that fits very neatly in place around it now. So that was one little tweak I made just to idiot-proof the flashlight, because I'm a clumsy person. And it's going to happen eventually. When I'm on a road trip or a camping trip, this is going to be my go-to flashlight now, and eventually I'm going to drop it again. And just so I don't have to unscrew the front of the light to snap the lens back in place again, I just made the one addition of that O-ring to help hold it securely in place, and now I can smack this all around. I can drop it all I want on the floor or on the ground, and it's not going to come unsnapped now. So that was one little tweak I made. Now this is an excellent, awesome flashlight. Wayne does very, very good work, and I will link to his website in the description. That is elektrolumens.com if you're interested in buying one of these. It's not cheap. I think this is at the moment the most expensive flashlight I have. I don't even know if I want to say the price out loud. I'll just put it right in here. Yeah, there's the price. But remember, the quality of Wayne's work is excellent, and you get a very functional and useful flashlight. You know, I've praised the MX-991 for just being practical and easy to carry for its large size. It's one of my favorite flashlights to have on any trip, whether I'm going camping or just going on a road trip in the car. I'll always have one of these in one of my bags or in my backpack. And from now on, that is more than likely going to be this one. This is by far the best performing one out of all of them that I have now. And that is all thanks to Wayne Johnson of Elektrolumens.com. Check out the link in the description. Now I'm going to go outside and do some beam shots, and maybe we'll compare some of these. We'll compare the standard incandescent one with the TTS LED upgrade. And you can see what I mean about how well this focuses the light over a long distance. Well, now we'll go outside and check it out. Well, so on the way out here I was freaked out by the glowing eyes of my neighbor's cat in the flashlight beam. There he is. Don't mind me, just shooting a video for YouTube. Okay, once again we are out here behind the shed on another dark, moonless and kind of scary night. But we're going to do some beam comparisons of these different lights. And first up is the standard incandescent bulb that you get when you first purchase the MX-991, which is, by 2017 standards, not really all that great. Oh well, about 25 or 30 lumens. And there is a standard MX-991, but with the addition of a TTS LED upgrade. And the one Fulton I have that actually has a decent reflector from the factory. Oh well, I don't know if the camera's picking it up at all, but you have a pretty wide spill with this too. As well as a pretty nicely focused round hotspot. Oh well, out of 9 or 10 flashlights, I got one good reflector. And then last, but definitely not least, wow, is the Anglelux-XML from Elektrolumens. Again, it's only 240 lumens, as some people would say, but 240 lumens is plenty enough when it's properly focused, and this definitely is. This puts all the other MX-991s I have at the moment to shame. None of them can compare to this. So once again, well done, Wayne. Good work on this flashlight. This is going to be my new go-to flashlight for when things go bump in the night, like they are in the bushes around me right now. I don't want to stay out here too much longer. I'll be glad to make it back to the house alive. And before I edit and finish the video, I just wanted to do some beam comparisons over a reasonable distance. The shed's maybe about 40-50 feet away. But as this is right now, this can light up something much further away, at least a good few hundred, maybe even several hundred feet. And unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of room to do a longer beam shot where I am right now. Maybe we'll see that in future videos, but for now, this is the best I can do. Once more, that is Elektrolumens.com. Check out the links in the description. I'll link to the TTS LED upgrade once again, just because that's still the inexpensive way to go. But if you're willing to invest a little bit more money, I say the Anglelux-XML from Elektrolumens is definitely the way to go. Good job, Wayne. Good night. Hope I make it back to the house alive. And as always, I forgot to mention one last detail before I stopped recording, and that is you do not lose any functionality of your different color filters or your diffuser lens because of this modification to the flashlight. So real quick, I'll show you with the red and blue filters what I mean. You'll unscrew the very front of the head of your light just like before. And I guess I'll start with the red filter so you can see. And there we go, there is the red filter. Ooh, that's cool. Very, very well focused and bright, but not too bright. Which is kind of the point of having the red filter, is to de-intensify the light for when your eyes are already adjusted to the dark. And now we will try the same with the blue filter. Just stack that on top of the standard clear lens. And there we go, there is the blue. And once again, that is elektrolumens.com. So I will link to it in the description. So definitely go check out Wayne's site. Wayne used to custom build his own flashlights just from scratch. He would take chunks of aluminum or brass or whatever and machine them out of just solid chunks of metal, and from the ground up he would build his own flashlights. He's not doing that anymore at the moment. All he's doing is modifying the MX-991 like I've shown you now. Definitely go check it out. If, you know, maybe you like this flashlight but never got it because of all the reasons I stated before. It's just not bright, or it's not focused all that well if you do happen to get an LED drop in. Well, here is the answer to both of those problems, and that is the Anglelux-XML from elektrolumens.com. That's not a paid endorsement. Nobody asked me or paid me off to say any of this. That is just the way it happened. It is an awesome, awesome flashlight, and I highly recommend it. Check it out.